Wonderful. Well, we've arrived at the practice section of this segment, and I want to talk you through what an integral practice of letting go might look like. So this is the idea that we start with a focus on our spirit. So the consciousness we have beyond words or beyond thoughts, the just being, the suchness, the ground of being that we have beyond our ideas of identity. And then we move through to soul. This is mind, will, and emotions. All the ways our internal environment is and thinks and feels and imagines. And then we move into body, the kind of uppermost, if you like, part of our being, the bit we can actually touch and feel. And often through movement, but also through eating and rest, we can practice using our body. And each of the three dynamically introduces us to different awarenesses, different experiences. And in the coming together of all three, there is a deeper penetrating, a more long-lasting experience, I believe, that there is to be had. And I have already done one simple meditation with you from this idea of spirit, and I'm going to use the same centering prayer practice again because it lends itself so beautifully to the topic of letting go. And I want to talk you through how this practice might happen and then simply to do it, which in this case just involves me being with what is and sitting here thinking, which probably doesn't make for amazing viewing, but I wanted there to be an actual practice in this section rather than sending you away and doing it, so that you've got the opportunity, if you want to practice along with me, or conversely, the opportunity to take this idea away and weave it into your life in whatever way that you would like. So centering prayer then, it was developed in the 1960s by a Trappist monk called Father Keating. And he, through studying ancient contemplation, came up with this package of skills and techniques around taking space regularly twice a day to empty yourself and to let go of your thoughts. So he taught that in 20-minute blocks, you take a sacred word and you use that sacred word as an anchor to bring yourself back to every time a thought interrupts your just being, and that you simply let go of the thought. And eventually, after you've practiced this, you find that you are able to just be without really thinking, which is a difficult idea to talk through, because how can you be if you've been thinking about being? But in essence, what happens is that you realize you have reached a place of stillness and a place of emptiness, for want of a better phrase, or peace, in which you notice that you've not been noticing and you're aware that you've not been thinking. And for those of us who are not used to meditation or spiritual practice, it can take some repetition to get skilled at. In some funny ways, these are very subtle practices are even harder to get used to than the more overt physical practices that we do. And so I always choose a sacred word. I use the same sacred word every time. And the word can be anything, but it's helpful if it has positive connections with you, for you to life as you see it. So your word could be love, your word could be mum, it could be peace or nature or river or hope, or any word that fits the bill, that is instinctive for you to say and will serve as an anchor to pull you back to the remembrance of letting go. And the state of mind that Thomas Keating taught people to adopt was one of openness and consenting to the will of God. Openness to source, we would say on the course, that we come willing and yielded, but we don't come with any conscious agenda or conscious set of thoughts. And there is a story that is told of Father Thomas doing instruction with a group of nuns who he took through the practice. And one of the nuns, who was more of a type A, busy kind of a person, said, "Oh, Father, I haven't got on well at all. I have had 10,000 different thoughts since you set us the practice of centering prayer." And without missing a beat, Father Keating came back and said, "Wonderful. That's 10,000 opportunities to return to God." Really illustrating the fact that in some ways, the more distractions we experience during practice, the more opportunities we have to return to it. And the faster we will become used to this concept of letting go. So in taking our anchor of a sacred word, and in adopting a posture and a space that is conducive to silence and sitting, a comfortable chair, no distractions around, and then optionally setting an alarm. So I like to not have to check the time when I'm practicing a centering prayer. So I will set an alarm on my phone, and then it will beep and let me know when I need to come back into full awareness. And so this case, it's a 5-minute alarm. And so I invite you, if you'd like to join me now for 5 minutes of centering prayer, where we close our eyes and just focus on our sacred word and on the practice of letting go. My timer just went off, and that marked the end of 5 minutes. And whatever experience I've had in the practice, it's a good thing to appreciate, enjoy, and let it go. Hold it lightly. We can get very performance focused so easily as human beings, and the gift is in the experience. Whether our experience has been frustrating and hard work and just difficulty maintaining any kind of focus, or whether our experience has been light and enjoyable, it is an experience. It offers us a gift. It offers us the opportunity to step closer in to life, to ourselves, to source. And so just receiving each moment that you get to practice as a gift is a good way to be, and really guards against many of the frustrations that meditators, people taking up skills of meditation, find with not having achieved what they hoped to achieve. So very simply, a awareness and an orientation to let go of our thoughts. Many CBT professionals will talk about thoughts like leaves on a river that float past and go on, and you can let them come and you can let them go. And that is a really healthy perspective taking way of realizing that we are not our thoughts and we are not our feelings. In fact, the source of our life is deeper and truer and much less variable than our soul. And honoring that, leaning into that and creating space for that is what a practice like centering prayer, letting go practice is all about. So I hope that you are able to be reminded, to be encouraged with your own practice, and to find some of the tips in here useful as you continue with your own spirit integrative work.